My name is Panda and I've successfully been a circus performer for 16 years, and also for the last 5 years I've been building my freelance career as well, helping people break through the patterns that keep them spinning their wheels. Working with clients who've gone to build successful online careers, for example. Now, whether you're stuck in a job that doesn't really fulfill you, or dreaming of starting something online, or just feeling like you have all these ideas but can't seem to turn them into action, this course is designed specifically for you. Here's something that might sound familiar. You know exactly what you need to do to move your life forward. Maybe it's starting that side business, updating your resume, or finally putting yourself out there. But every time you sit down to actually do it, you freeze. You make a plan, you feel motivated for about 5 minutes, and then you find yourself scrolling through social media again for 2 hours instead. I'm going to show you today exactly why this happens and the simple framework that helped me break out of this cycle. And by the end of this video, you understand the real reason why you stay stuck. And then you have also a practical exercise to start taking action today. And over the next few videos, I'll walk you through a simple system that takes you from feeling paralyzed by possibilities and to taking concrete steps forward. No hustle culture nonsense, just honest, practical tools that actually work. So before we move on, I would really appreciate if you leave me a like on this video and a subscribe so we can keep creating content like this for you. Let's talk about why we get stuck, because really understanding this changes everything. There are 3 emotional traps that keeps us spinning our wheels. First is the impostor syndrome, which is that voice saying, "Who am I to think I can do this?" And the second is overwhelm. We look at where we want to be and it feels so massive that we don't know even where to start. And third is perfectionism. We want to launch the perfect website, write the perfect proposal, so we then research endlessly instead of doing anything. When we feel stuck, our brain tries to help by going into planning mode. We sit down, we open our laptop, create a beautiful to-do list, and you know what? We feel very productive for 10 minutes. And then what happens? We find ourselves on Instagram or YouTube just for a minute, and 3 hours later we've accomplished nothing, except for feeling worse than we were when we just started. So here's a personal example. In the circus industry, I had big dreams, right? Performing, teaching, maybe starting my own circus company. But when I identified what I needed to do, like for example, practicing a specific skill for 2 hours, it felt too small compared to my big vision that I had. I think, what's the point of practicing for 2 hours when I need years to get where I want to be? So I would avoid the small necessary actions because they didn't really feel significant enough. Obviously, I stay stuck. We don't stay stuck because we're lazy. We stay stuck because of fear and lack of clarity. The fear is obvious. Failing, looking stupid, wasting time. But you know what? Lack of clarity is sneaky. We think we're clear about what we want, but we're drowning in too many options. Should I start a blog or should I start a YouTube channel? Learn web design or focus on writing? When everything feels equally as important, our brain goes into short circuits, and it's like being in a restaurant with a 50-page menu and you end up ordering nothing. But there are some good news after all. Once you understand what's happening, you can do something about it. Psychologists like to call it name it to tame it. When you can say, "I'm procrastinating because this feels overwhelming," or "I'm scrolling because I'm afraid to start," then suddenly you have options. It's like the difference between being lost in a dark room versus when someone turns the lights on. Same room, but now you can actually see what you're dealing with. So instead of grand plans they will never follow, we'll focus on the smallest possible action that moves us forward. Want to start freelancing, for example? Update one LinkedIn section. You want to change careers? Spend 15 minutes researching one job title. Start a side business? Write down 3 problems you could solve. So these feel embarrassingly small, but they bypass your brain's resistance. Your brain can't argue with spend 15 minutes researching or 10 minutes. Once you start moving, momentum builds naturally. So here's what I want you to do right now. First, I want you to write down one area where you feel stuck, and I want it to just be one. Second, write down what you've been telling yourself about why you haven't made progress, and I want you to be honest here. And third, identify the smallest possible action you could take in the next 24 hours. If your instinct is create a business plan, make it smaller. Fourth, write down exactly when you do this. Not tomorrow, write Tuesday at 2 p.m. And this really takes 5 minutes max. So over the next few days, pay attention to what happens when it's time to do your small action. Notice if you suddenly want to check social media or clean your room, but I don't want you to judge. Just notice what it is. Say to yourself, I'm avoiding this because I feel scared, or I'm procrastinating because I'm worried it won't be perfect. So name what's happening. So when you see it clearly, then you can choose to either stay stuck in this pattern or to do one small thing anyway. So most of the time, just naming this pattern is enough to snap you out of it. Now, this next step sounds simple, and it is, but simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. The question you're asking right now might be, how do I actually follow through with this? How do I make sure I don't go back to my old patterns? And that's exactly what we're covering in the next video. I'll show you a full framework for building confidence through action and proving to yourself that you can actually follow through, starting with tiny wins that build into bigger changes. And here's the thing, you don't need more motivation. You need a system that works when you don't feel like doing it. So do that exercise, pay attention to what comes up, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love. Bye.